How do I make sure that I have a successful interview? How do I make sure that I know whether the candidate's qualified or not? How do I make sure that I feel good about this hire that I'm making?
Hey, welcome back. Another episode of More Than Marketing here. Today's awesome because I get to talk to Luke Gracie. Oh man, what's up,
Happy
Luke?
to be here.
Yes, awesome. Luke is our Director of Marketing Services. He's one of our most tenured folks. And today we're talking about recruiting for digital marketing talent. Is that right?
Right.
Right. And so I know, Luke, you've been here for I don't even know what, 8 years now, 7, 8 years, doesn't matter. Like you've seen a lot of digital marketing talent through our academy and through hiring. You've also helped clients hire digital marketing. Is that right?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things that I feel like is a good value add from us is we'll help you interview for any sort of digital marketing hires that you're trying to make.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads nicely into what I want to talk about is how to hire digital marketers without getting burned.
Yes.
And the reason we offer clients that assistance is because it can be easy to get burned.
Yeah, we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen. There's horror stories, and you've seen it happen. And if you're going to be working with that client, you're going to want someone on the other end who knows their stuff and is not just kind of going to give you the runaround. And also, it's for the client. The client wants to make the best hire.
Right, exactly. And a lot of times, CMOs, VPs of marketing, people that have good experience with marketing have been doing it for a long time, but haven't necessarily sat in the digital marketing seat, have a little bit of trouble figuring out the right questions to ask. And it's very easy to kind of pull the wool over their eyes by throwing out what I call the alphabet soup of digital marketing.
I love it.
I do SEO and CRO, and I have all these PPC wins, and I'm in GA all the time finding data, and you hear stuff like that, and you think, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. They know their stuff.
Right.
But really, you just need to read a couple blog posts to be able to go into an interview and say that.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that you've done it or that you've posted wins or that you have experience there.
Yeah.
There's all these certifications that people ask for.
Right.
Oh, are you Google Ads certified? Are you
Right.
Google Analytics certified?
Right.
You can get those certifications without working in any of those platforms at all.
Yeah,
in fact, you can just sit there and Google the answers and get 100% on all the
Right.
exams.
Yeah, exactly. And that's very unfortunate because I do like those exams, for instance, because they are actually pretty tough if you don't do the Googling of the answers, right? You're right. I see these on resumes. I don't know if you guys have seen this where on the resume it's like the alphabet soup, right? SEO, PPC, increased. Oh, here's a good one. Increased traffic by 500%, or decreased CPA or CPL by whatever percent.
Right.
And first off, if you ever see CPA or CPL decrease by more than 100%,
not possible.
That's not possible. What, you got leads for negative, right? We're getting leads for $1 and we decreased it by 120%. So you're getting paid for leads now, right? So there's flag number one. But like the resume. Talk to me about the resume. You've seen this in the resume. Right?
So a lot of things on a resume can be all relative too.
Yeah.
So if you're increasing or decreasing things by percents, but you're not giving the absolute values, then that may throw up some flags, and that might be something you want to poke into a little bit more. Okay, you decreased the CPA by 50%. What did it start at? How much were you paying for clicks? And those can be questions that maybe you're not, maybe you don't know to ask, and
that's okay.
And that's okay. But there's ways to figure out what to ask, and that's what we want to go through today. We've got 6 quick tips that will help you figure out, hey, how do I make sure that I have a successful interview? How do I make sure that I know whether the candidate's qualified or not? How do I make sure that I feel good about this hire that I'm making, and I'm not just getting confused or false confidence in a bunch of technical terms getting thrown at me.
Yep. Yeah, so let's jump into that. Before we do, real quick, I want to talk about sourcing candidates a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There are headhunters out there. So look, if you wanna work with a headhunter, there are headhunters out there. Profiles, careerprofiles.com. They specialize in digital marketers and creative talent. There are other ones out there as well, but careerprofiles.com is a good one. And a recruiter is going to help you. A headhunter is going to help you do some of the screening and upfront work and even help you with some questions to ask. If you don't want to use one, we've found success with all the major job boards. Indeed, you're going to get more volume, but you may not get as good of quality. Believe it or not, Glassdoor is providing some volume and some good candidates, and then LinkedIn the same. So less volume from LinkedIn, but generally a better candidate generally speaking. So just want to throw that out there to kind of touch on that sourcing piece. But now let's hit those tips that you put together, because they're really good. And this is now when you have the candidate, how to interview them, right?
Right.
Or what to do in the interview.
Right. So my number one tip, and this is one that I like to offer different clients this service too, is if you don't feel comfortable hiring or interviewing yourself for a digital marketing position, find yourself a partner that does, because they are the ones that are going to know what questions to ask to be able to say, hey, they're using all these terms, but they're using them wrong, which indicates that they don't really know what they're talking about, or, they're touting wins that are relative values, but you don't know actually what they are or not, and they're not giving any justification. So find yourself a partner. That can be someone else that you know in the space. That can be your agency.
It could be a coworker.
A coworker.
It could be
exactly.
a coworker. Just, if you don't feel comfortable, and I say either way. I mean, you're never. I mean, hopefully, you're not interviewing and just having one person interview. You're going to want a second opinion one way or another. And what I think, Luke, you're saying here is find someone who either has a deeper digital experience than you do, or find someone who's got like maybe a different perspective on digital than you do.
Yeah.
One way or another, you want kind of a different perspective to help you in the interview. Basically,
Yeah.
They may see things you don't. They may ask questions you may not think to ask for one reason or another.
Exactly.
So, tip number 1: find a partner to help you out.
Yep.
Cool.
Tip number 2: use sample assignments. And sample assignments are good because they allow you to actually see how somebody thinks and the work that they do. And if pay the person for it. If you feel like they're you want to keep moving in that interview stage, it's okay to compensate them for it.
Yeah.
That couple $100 you give them for that sample assignment is going to maybe get some of your work accomplished, and also it's going to make sure that you're not making a more costly hiring mistake down the road.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to come up with those assignments, you can actually Google it, and there's a lot of good sample assignments to give to digital marketing prospects that you're trying to hire.
Oh.
And also, if you don't want to do that, lean on that partner that you have and say, hey, what kind of things would you put into an assignment? We use these all the time at Web Mechanics, and we use them especially when hiring new Google Ads professionals, and it shows us how they think and how they analyze data, and it takes them not too long to fill out. It takes us 13 seconds to read and say this person knows what they're talking about, or no, they don't.
And then it's great for relativity. Say we're looking at 5 different people, and they all did the same exact sample assignment. It gives us that kind of apples to apples comparison, right? They all had the same exact data, the same amount of time, right? And so we can look at those sample assignments and get a pretty good read on what what their skills portion is.
And other factors too, like how much effort they put into it.
Oh, that's a good point.
Are there blatant grammar and spelling mistakes?
That's a great point.
Is it formatted nicely? it'll be an indicator of the type of person that you're hiring.
That's a great point. I didn't even think about that. I like that a lot. Yeah, so you'll get the skills and you'll get the, how much effort do they put in, which is kind of similar to like if you come to an interview. You were saying this before we started. If you come to an interview like dressed like a schlub, that's different than if you come, professionally dressed, right?
Yeah, it's first impression.
First impression.
That saying comes from somewhere.
Exactly. It's the same idea with the sample assignment. And on the sample assignment, before we go to tip number 3, I consider your own company as the use case, right? Hey, what would you do for us? Or here's this specific challenge we're having. How would you solve it, right? So that's an easy way to jump in, or to create a sample assignment.
Yeah, exactly.
Give me number 3.
Tip number 3: ask specific questions and don't be afraid to play dumb. So I'll do this during interviews sometimes. Someone will say, "Oh, yeah, I'm a master in SEM," and I go, "SEM? That's when you try and rank number 1 on the free listings on Google, right?" And they'll say, "Yes, that's exactly it." And I'll say, "Okay, that's SEO. I'm gonna put a little mark that they're trying to pull the wool over my eyes on that."
And that's a confusing one, by the way. SEM stands for search engine marketing. Like,
it could be.
I am mad at that one because it's like, I mean, you know this.
Being in the industry,
if you're in the industry, exactly. If you're in the industry, you know that SEM is search engine marketing. Sure, is what it stands for, but it's specifically advertising on search networks like Google, Yahoo, Bing, right? And SEO is ranking for the organic listings. So that's a good example. It's
Yeah. And if you don't know, it doesn't have to be a bait and trap thing. Another thing I like to do is just say, "Hey, can you explain that to me in layman's terms? I don't know exactly what you're talking about there." And if they can't do that, then that typically means they don't know what they're talking about either. But a good digital marketer will be able to explain. They'll be able to use the terminology, but they'll be able to explain it to you in a way that anyone can understand when asked to.
Yeah, like a more simple, they'll be able to simplify it, right? They'll be able to simplify the concept, or they'll be able to make an analogy or a metaphor that should help. I think something you might be able to ask in your next interview is, explain it to me like I'm a client who doesn't know the details,
Right.
Not to say like all the clients don't know the details. Many of them do, but if they don't, explain it to me like that, and hopefully they're using analogies or they're simplifying and they're
Yeah, and that's highly relevant for agencies. If you're doing an in-house hire, then explain it to me in a way that I can take this up and show it to my CEO.
Explain it like the CEO sitting here or the board of directors are sitting here.
Right.
They don't know the details of digital marketing. Like, explain it to me. Like, explain it. Pretend I'm them. Yeah, it's good. I like that. Yeah. Number 4.
Number 4, check references. So this can be there can be layers to this, especially depending on how big your HR department is and everything. I know there's hey, we need to make sure that person worked at the places during the time frames that they said they did.
Employment verification.
That employment verification thing. But I think if you are going to ultimately be the manager of somebody, you owe it to yourself to call those organizations too and see if they would hire that person back again.
Yeah.
Or see if there was anything that really stood out to them about that candidate, or that was a problem with that candidate. Yeah. And I don't think that really happens enough. And there's always 2 sides to every story, so you have to take some of it with a grain of salt. But if you call 3 previous employers and they all have the same complaints, then it's likely not always the employer's fault.
Yeah, that's a good one. Obviously, there are some HR lines that we can't step on here, but I mean, I get asked, "Hey, are they eligible for reemployment?" And then also, if not, why not? So I don't want to step on.
You have to be careful what you ask.
Yeah,
but
go to your HR.
Sometimes people will tell you.
Go to your HR department for this one, but definitely just calling them and is the person exuberant about giving a reference for this person, or are they just kind of like, yeah, whatever, there's a lot you can glean if you actually make those reference check calls. You learn, and you can learn stuff about the candidate that they don't know, because there's a different perspective that they don't know about themselves. We just did this with one of our hires, and we learned something from the reference check, and then we asked her about it, and she went into this, into more detail, and it was something we didn't know that about you, and that makes us want you even more, and
Yeah.
and now the opportunity is even stronger. So yeah, it can go both ways, right? All right, so we've just to kind of recap real quick. We found a partner. We know someone who's going to help us get a different perspective. We're going to give them a sample assignment. So we're comparing candidates apples to apples. We have comps, right? Comparatives. We are asking specific questions, but we're also playing dumb here or there and asking them to give us explain it.
Simple term.
Yeah, how about explain it to me like I'm 5? There's a Reddit thing for that, right? ELI5, explain it like a 5, whatever it is. Y'all know what it is, or you don't. I don't know. And then 4, we're checking the references, right? And then what's number 5?
Number 5 is, and maybe this should really be number 1, is know what you're hiring for.
Yeah.
So there's kind of this impression out there that, hey, this person is maybe young, coming out of college, they're on social media, so that means that person can then in turn do all my web development, write all of our content, and come up with a strategy there, do SEO, also plan some conversion rate optimization test on the site, run our Google ads, run our display ads, come up with our branding, and that's a big ask. That's the purple squirrel in the recruiting world.
The unicorn, the purple squirrel, right?
And so you should have an idea of who you really want to hire and what role they should play before you start interviewing.
Yeah.
Because if you need a content strategy, then that plays very well with SEO.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking to spread awareness, then that can play very well with display advertising. So there's different things that you're trying to accomplish, and different people can help to accomplish them.
Yeah.
And the very best hires you can make are people that know how to sit in their zone, but they also know how to leverage resources in other zones. So the content strategist, SEO, who has some good agency connections to help get your development done, or to get your ad campaigns launched.
Yeah,
those people can be very valuable.
Yeah, because they come with references, or they know what they're good at and what they're also not good at. And then so be specific. I see what you're saying, number 1, because this is the first thing you need to do is understand who it is you're looking for, what are their skills, and why is that applicable to your situation now. And I want to touch on this, like, back to the resume, like, people are like, yeah, I have HTML and CSS experience. It's like, okay, you might, maybe you did some MySpace stuff, but web technology's come a long way since then, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now there's, in CSS, there's SASS, SASS, and it's like HTML. There is always, or typically now is with a content management system, there's like template files. So you got to be really careful with someone who's like, yeah, I know some HTML, like I can kind of.
I know HTML, and I will never build a website. You wouldn't want me to do that.
Yeah, and exactly. Yeah, I know some HTML, like if I really had to, but that's not my strong suit. Like, you want someone who knows what they're really good at, and that's aligned to what you're looking for.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
That can be really hard too in the marketing tech. If you're looking for like MarTech ops, or that kind of.
Yeah.
That hiring that kind of person can be even more challenging, because that introduces a whole new set of buzzwords. So
yeah,
going back to the partners, you should think about who can help out with that. That might be, hey, let's bring one of our developer contacts onto a call with us to figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah, and like
Salesforce admin, that's one that can be a challenge too.
Yeah, it's a fun one, right? Any marketing ops, and then it's like, oh yeah, I have 10 years of HubSpot experience. Well, HubSpot's been around for 13 years, and it's changed a lot since then. So when's the last time you used it, right? When's the last time you were in the platform? If it was 7 years ago, it doesn't look the same, So it's like little details like that you want to be careful not to get burned on, That's So, and the purple unicorns, they or the purple squirrels. I don't know. Do you think a purple squirrel exists? Like, they're rare.
They're rare.
Yes. If they exist, they're very rare, and they probably cost a lot.
I mean, that's what it is. And do you want one person wearing that many hats?
Probably not.
Probably the other question.
Yeah.
Because they're not going to be able to do any of it well, even if they are capable of doing all of it.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So you want someone who, knows what they know, knows what they're great at, and can work with other people. That's the other piece to that is they can. We're kind of going on a tangent, but skills is one thing, but also communication is another thing. I think no matter what you do in any job, really, but in digital marketing, you're working with other skill sets. You're working with an agency or a vendor or partner, or you're working with your boss, right? Or you're working with people under you, right? Or next to you, your colleagues. And so you have to be able to communicate. You have to be empathetic to the other person's role, what they need to accomplish their job and do it well. And so that's like the soft skills that we didn't even talk about, but that's the other thing, the soft skills. I think that leads into number 6 pretty well.
Yeah, but it's a more wishy-washy way of saying it, but trust your gut.
Yeah.
So you may have a very good feeling about a candidate, and then that can lead you down one direction. But if you have a bad feeling, then to me it makes sense to just kind of sever that tie, because if you have a bad feeling during the interview but you make the hire anyway, that's going to bleed into the working relationship, and you're always going to question whether or not you made the right hire or not. So you should only hire people that you have a good feeling about. If there's anything uncertain, it's fair to bring it up to the candidate, and maybe they can change your impression. But if that still lingering bad feeling is there, don't move forward.
Yeah.
Because it's not really fair to either party either.
That's right.
It comes down to it.
That's right. And so that goes for the skills piece, or the hard skills, or the soft skills. If you don't, if maybe culturally you don't know if they'll fit, or you don't think that they'll fit, that's probably a very good reason to, something to bring up, or otherwise disqualify on. It's fair.
And as far as the soft skills go, I read a good LinkedIn article, a Gary V article, which some of his stuff's really good, some of it's kind of out there.
Take what's good and leave the rest.
But he made a good point. He said emotional intelligence is going to be one of the most important hiring factors in the coming years, because as software and machine learning takes over more and more aspects of different careers, then when it comes down to it, it's who are the people that can communicate effectively, who are the people that can put themselves in other people's shoes in order to get them to take action on things, who are the ones that are going to provide that dependability and make your company a joy for other people to work at. So that emotional intelligence thing, that is important. And that's something else you can see in the digital marketing world sometimes too, which is the very skilled, been in it for a long time, kind of cocky digital marketer that, isn't willing to step onto the front lines and roll up their sleeves and get the work done. So keep an eye out for that.
Yeah, gotta be careful for that. That's exactly right. We've seen it, unfortunately, time and time again. It exists. So the whole point of this podcast is to help you in recruiting digital marketing talent. So kind of telling them what we've seen and what we've learned. Right?
Yeah.
So cool. So I'm good if you're good.
I'm good. I hope this is helpful for everyone.
I think it'll be very helpful. We'll pare it down and make a blog post. Actually, I'll say this too. If everyone wants like our sample assignment, we'll give it to you. Just ask. Just reach out and ask. It covers like writing a headline for a landing page. It covers like email subject lines, analyzing paid media data. What else? Doesn't cover SEO. It does cover, but it covers a good broad spectrum of digital marketing. And again, it's a great way to get comps, apples to apple comps, right? So if you know anyone, if you're hiring, hopefully this helps you. If you know anyone who's hiring digital marketing talent, share this podcast with them. And otherwise, like, share, and say hi to Luke in the comments. Cool? Thanks, y'all. See you next time.
Thanks.